Hello, welcome. I would like to introduce a very interesting blockchain startup called Irene Energy, an open platform for the energy industry. Basically, what does this company do? Well, Irene is looking to connect consumers that want renewable energy solutions with producers of this energy by the use of technology. So how it works is that customers will access the app. They will first register in the website and download it, of course, and then they will get a list of all the producers of clean energy based on their parameters. So let's say they want to find solar energy suppliers, or they want suppliers from the same country or their same region. Well, now they can go and find them using this company and also decide how much are they going to buy from each one. The company will then pay the producers of the first month and keep a percent of the profits. Basically, this is a very profitable idea because right now only 40% of the costs of energy are paid to the producers, and utilities can keep over 5% of the costs. And this is using relatively inefficient back offices, while this one will be on the blockchain, facilitating payments and transparency. Specifically, this will use an Stellar blockchain, which is specialized in financial transactions, and the coin is going to be called Telis. Investors will be able to invest in the company by using Telis. So this is just a visual look of how the process works. So here we have the customer called Sienna. She consumes her electricity, and we all get paid with this, but this is all paid by Irene. And Irene also gets the money from Sienna and pays the taxes and keeps 5% of the profits. Sienna and Will only ever see the payments in their local currency. So, not only this, but Irene Energy also got a grant for the UK Innovation Society to develop a micropayment solution for developing countries in Africa, where customers will pay the people that own the electricity using this platform and also be able to save using Telis to eventually purchase their own, let's say, solar panel. The advantage of using Stellar Energy is that the fee that they charge is lower than 0.5%. So it is very profitable and cheap for customers to use this instead of traditional mediums, and it also allows them to have some banking services as well, focused on the energy market. So this is a very interesting idea that they are gonna initiate in Tanzania, but it also is very different from the main idea, which will be covered further. So basically, on the SWOT analysis, we can see that they have a very specialized team. Their team has over 10 years of experience, some members, and they come from backgrounds in energy and business. So this gives us the confidence in their abilities. The service is very easy to use from a customer perspective. It is very interactive because you can immediately choose from your customers in a Tinder-like experience, in their words. The payment system is very transparent, and here is the main strength, because you can automatically pay the company and see how much did they pay the suppliers in Telis and in the local currency. So you can easily track all your payments and whether the company is actually being honest about who are they paying. The use of the Stellar platform is also very scalable, as they don't have a proof of work. So it is very easy for them to perform fast financial transactions and make a scaling and the energy consumption something of a minor issue, because as a green energy company, they wanted to make sure that their blockchain solution wasn't polluting. So this is very an advantage. Now, the weaknesses are that the process of buying Telis and the fact that it is going to be used for transactions can be misused by speculators. Because in theory, when companies want to use Irene for their backend providers, they have to either lease the blockchains from the company or buy them from the market. This can present the risk that some investors will misuse of the system and will create shortages. Second of all, the system could be confusing for customers and producers, as customers could have too many choices and producers could have this complicated system that I explained about the leasing or buying the coins, sorry, that could complicate operations. Lastly, for the idea of the African market, it is a very fragmented market. Their solution is very new, so customer adoption is not certain. So these are very big points to take into account for this second idea going forward. The opportunities is that this electrical sector is growing fast. In the UK alone, over 300,000 customers changed providers last year, and this is just a trend that is going to keep increasing. Customers want green solutions. They are aware of climate change, especially in the European markets and the East Coast and West Coast, which is their second market in America. So they are demanding better solutions for this. There are also tougher regulations as the Paris Agreement comes into force and things like carbon credits gain strength. Companies are being forced to use cleaner solutions for their problems. There is a great growth in the renewable energy industry worldwide, which ensures that there is a supply of producers, and there is also a growth of the so-called consumer, which is a customer that consumes the electricity but also produces it. On the African market, more than 600 million customers don't have access to electricity. So there is a huge potential to ensure that these people have access to it and at the same time gain profits for us. The threats are that there are many competitors in the space, not exactly on the blockchain industry, using a blockchain solution, but there are many electricity startups that are using green energy, especially in the UK, which means that we really need to take a focus on our differentiated offer. The divided offer can scare investors and divert energies, as they have their plan for the electricity utility provider and their African market plan, which are totally different ideas and could be conflicting from a company standpoint of view. Obviously, the electricity sector is subject to regulatory hurdles. The threat of regulation is always there, and we need to be aware of that. Companies might get confused on the ICO terms, as the coin is going to be used by consumers, it's going to be on the open market, and there is still a general wariness about using ICO solutions, even though the company is adhering to the most strict standards, and we believe that this is a minor threat. We still wanted to point it out due to the fact that ICOs have a very bad press recently. Customers are still not used to the service, this is especially for the African one, as customers are not used to using this to pay, and also on the other solution, this will imply customers accessing their electricity with an app that will require also some convincing. Therefore, our DICE analysis says that we should decrease the barriers of entry on the African market, be it by finding a way to make more users get into the service or using other marketing strategies, and also decrease the uncertainty by adhering to all the standards and going overboard with them in a way. Overboard not in the term of being overburdened, but just trying to make this as close to a normal exit to market as possible. We also want to increase the screening of the voyages of the currency to avoid the speculators that I mentioned before. Maybe the scope of micropayments can go beyond Africa. Latin America is also a market where green energy has been growing to a great extent, and there are also major problems with electricity providers. But in this case, in general, the markets are more developed, more population have access to the internet, for example, and they might be more open to this solution. We also want to increase the focus on companies using local energy suppliers to avoid the currency conversion costs. Maybe this can be the standard option, and we want to increase the link between the coins and the quality of the supplier. So in a way, making a system similar to social credit, where the customers can have some sort of rating to know which of these producers is actually the best one in terms of the environment, or maybe in terms of how easy it is for Irene to get energy from them. This is an important consideration. They should increase. They should create a separate company for the second concept. I cannot stress this enough, because I feel that the other idea is very interesting and deserves to be developed, but it generates uncertainty from the investor point of view, as the ROI of this project is by no means certain. There is also an option to automatically assign companies to the customer, because maybe I don't want to use this gaming system. Maybe I just want to get the clean suppliers. So they could give the option to do this to simplify the process. We could also develop an AI powered system to give better recommendations to customers, because maybe with a customer's certain characteristics, it can immediately identify which producers are better for them. This is obviously more of a long-term solution, but it could be really interesting. And obviously the system of social credit that I mentioned, just also focusing out on the fact that companies that can better adapt to increase demand. So it will be interesting to add that, but from an internal perspective. The other one was from a customer perspective, but this is from the company's perspective. We believe that they should eliminate this divided offer, and they should eliminate the conflict of interest with tokens, as they are already gaining a profit from connecting the customers to the producers. I don't think that it should be linked to the ICO. Why do they need blockchain? Well, basically there are many producers and many suppliers, so this is a way of bringing them together. Obviously they have conflicting interests, as the producers are not necessarily wanting to keep the best service, or they might not be clean. Especially customers cannot really know where their energy is coming from, so this is a way to make this transparent. And since this is a very regulated industry, the rules governing the participants are very standard and do not change frequently. The fact that they are public and it's immutable is our main selling point, so for me it is very important that the company has this. Therefore, I believe that there is a strong case to be made that they need the blockchain. In conclusion, this option gives a transparency. The ICO is very transparent, as you can immediately track where it is going. The idea has a lot of potential, and the blockchain is a unique selling point. However, since they have two separate offers and the market is crowded by itself, I don't recommend investing in it unless the company is willing to divest the African one and really focus on getting the differentiated offer and making it easy for customers to buy it, which, since we are still on a planning idea, we still don't know how well this is gonna be made. Thank you for the presentation, and I hope you found it useful. Here are some of the references that I use for the project.